Every story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is a story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
It's CoreTV Primetime News. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. In our top story, President Muhammadu Buhari challenges accountants to join his crusade for financial prudence. Also in this program, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo calls for economic paradigm shift for the development of Africa. Troops of the Nigerian military retake Gamborun Gala local government area from Boko Haram militants. And outside Nigeria, militants of the Islamic State group engage in street-to-street vicious battle as they take more districts of Syria's capital from other rebel groups. We'll begin tonight in Abuja, where President Muhammadu Buhari has solicited the support of Nigerian accountants for his administration's efforts to entrench greater probity, prudence and respect for financial regulations in the management of national resources. He said these at an audience with members of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICANN, at the presidential villa. President Buhari warned that with declining oil prices, Nigeria must learn to manage its available resources or face developmental stagnation and decline. The ICANN delegation, led by Samuel Dero, also included governors of Lagos and Ogun State.
What you have seen since May 29, it's about a strong leadership that has shown direction to every other Nigerian. The mantra of that leadership that is being reflected by the president is what you are seeing in every other state now. Everybody is beginning to say that we should obey the rule of law, we should uphold our laws. All revenue agencies are now paying directly into the federation accounts. That in itself, is making every other public official to be responsible and responsive. And in no time, you will see the whole program of the party, that's APC, begin to yield greater dividends to Nigerians.
That's why you see people like me and some of my brothers that we now find ourselves serving our people. So the anti-corruption drive of Mr. President, of course, it is what those are even the ground norms for us, if you want, because as accountants, what does it tell us? Transparency, accountability. Indeed, if you keep to those tenets, you will see that there will be no corruption. And for us as accountants, even this is a clarion call to our members. We should get involved now. We should help the government. This era of change, we should be seen.
Meanwhile, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says the time has come for Africans to rethink the time-worn economic ideas and myths that have held its people and policymakers bound to only a few options. Speaking in Abidjan at the investiture of the new African Development Bank President Akinwumi Adesina, Osinbajo called on Africans to develop uncommon creativity, innovation and change in charting the pathway for future growth and development of countries in the continent. Justifying the call for this paradigm shift, the Vice President stated that Western economies, particularly the United States of America, told this path to emerge from its recent economic meltdown in 2008. Osinbajo, who represented President Muhammadu Buhari at the event, said African countries need a new strategy in the face of daunting challenges. United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon on Monday held a special meeting with 12 heads of parliaments from different parts of the world, including Nigeria's Senate President Bukola Saraki. The session was called to discuss security challenges in many countries and the resultant mass displacement of people from their traditional abode. The meeting was held at the UN headquarters as part of activities scheduled for the 4th United Nations Conference for Parliamentary Heads in New York and lasted for over an hour. Senator Saraki, who briefed the press after the meeting, said Ban Ki-moon told the parliamentary heads that the UN views with seriousness the issue of terrorism, rehabilitation of internally displaced persons, and general insecurity, which he said further worsened the cases of poverty and underdevelopment. He was quoted in a statement as saying that he came out of the meeting more energized to get the much-needed support for the IDPs and those affected by terrorism in northeast part of Nigeria. Saraki, who will address the plenary of the World Conference on Wednesday, is also billed to hold bilateral meetings with heads of parliaments of Britain, Germany, and France. The Senate has held the decision of members of the Unity Forum for withdrawing the forgery suit filed against Senate President Bukola Saraki and his deputy Ike Ekweremadu before a federal high court in Abuja. The senators had sought to remove the duo over their perceived roles in the alleged forgery of the 2015 Senate standing orders used for the inauguration of the 8th Senate. But Justice Ademola Adeniyi struck out the case after the plaintiffs, who are members of the Senate, withdrew their suit. Chairman, Senate Ad Committee on Media and Publicity, Daniel Malaye, said in a statement that the discontinuation of the suit showed the national interest is superior to individual and group interests. He added that the development has put to shame divisive elements who wanted to ridicule the 8th Senate. Senator Malaye also noted that the leadership of the Senate would keep its promise of placing national interest above primordial sentiment always. The Nigerian Army says troops have recaptured Gamborungala in Borno State from Boko Haram. This was reviewed in a series of tweets via the Army's Twitter handle. It described Gamborungala as one of the economic and strategic center of the state, but did not say when the insurgents took control of the town. The Army says troops are carrying out mopping-up patrols in the town, which borders Cameroon. There's however no independent confirmation of the development, as Nigeria's military authorities had said in July that there is no major town in Borno State that is controlled by the insurgents. A federal high court in Abuja has granted bail to the former National Security Advisor Sambo Dasuki on self-recognition. This was after the retired colonel was formally arraigned on a one-count charge of possession of firearms without license. When the charge was read, Dasuki pleaded not guilty, and his counsel Joseph Daudu immediately filed a bail application, which was not opposed by the prosecution. The trial judge, Justice Adeniyi Ademola, granted the former NSA bail and adjourned till October 26 and 27 for trial. He also ordered the accused person to surrender his traveling document to the court.
One count charge of illegal possession of firearms. He pleaded not guilty. The court took the application in writing for bail, and after a well-considered ruling, he granted bail on his self-recognizance, meaning on his self-esteem.
The Chief of Defense Staff, General Gabriel Olonishakin, says his vision for the armed forces is to ensure well-motivated, trained and equipped armed forces that is responsive to national security commitments. He made this known at a session with principal staff officers and senior military personnel at the Defense Headquarters. Defense spokesman Colonel Reb Abubakar said in a statement that the CDS maintained that all hands must be on deck to ensure that the presidential directive of ending terrorism within 3 months is achieved. He therefore urged all personnel of the armed forces to redouble their efforts to ensure that the confidence reposed in the military is not shaken. The recent call by Taraba state government and people living in various refugee camps scattered across the state to return to their homes has begun to yield positive results. This was obvious when a joint task force set up by government visited many of the IDP camps, as well as the affected communities on a peace mission. Correspondent Udwak Gadwin has details.
The lingering crisis among Fulani, Jukun and Tiv communities in Taraba State has over the years displaced thousands of people. Many of the affected persons have had to leave their homes in search of safe havens, while others left due to fear of possible attacks. But the government is insisting that it is committed to providing adequate security in the affected communities and wants all internally displaced persons to return to their domain.
The other side of that meeting is actually to address the issue of the IDPs, the internally displaced persons. So arrangements have been concluded. Many of them have started even returning to their respective places. They've started rebuilding their homes that were destroyed during the conflicts. So for me, I think I will just tell you right away that already people have started moving back into the communities they left before. And efforts are still being made for others to also to return to their respective communities and continue,
The joint task force led by Lieutenant Austin Success was put together by the state government to ensure proper reconciliation as well adequate rehabilitation and resettlement of affected persons. The team is on a peace mission to the areas and has been meeting traditional rulers who have given their words on peace. Some of the displaced persons also bared their minds concerning the process of their return.
We want government to make sure we go back to our normal houses so that we can resume our farming.
Life in camp cannot be compared to where we are coming from. We want to be ensured security as we are asked to return back to our homes.
Many of the affected people have been displaced since January 2014 and hope that they won't have any reason to flee again once they return to their homes. Udwa Gadwi, CoreTV News, Jalingo.
Senate Minority Leader Godswill Akpabio has been flown out of the country for further medical attention. This was after he was discharged from the National Hospital Abuja, where he was rushed to after his convoy rammed into that of the U.S. Embassy. Before his discharge, the former governor was said to have expressed surprise that news of the road accident had spread within a few minutes. The spokesperson of the hospital told Rabia Labaran told CoreTV News that Akpabio was in a stable condition when he was brought in.
I'm not aware of when he was, but he was brought early in the morning. Before I came to work around 8, and I was called around 9 o'clock, and I was told that he was rushed to the hospital after a car crash at the Bolingo Hotel Junction. And luckily enough, the injury he sustained was not a serious one. He was then moved after the initial emergency treatment. He was moved to the private wing of the hospital. But as of this morning, we don't want to say anything about the situation because we have divergent views about whether he's in National Hospital or not, and I've not been given the permission to speak about him because what I learned yesterday from the doctor that managed him, he said he wants his private affairs private. So because of that, I will not want to say any further as regards the situation on ground now.
We'll take a break now and I'll be back with more stories. Don't go away.
This is what the people are saying.
You don't run a big economy with generator. They need to do more in terms of energy and power.
Many things to do for this Nigeria about lights, water, and new TT.
For Nigerians that are not gullible, we know that good laws have done nothing good for this country.
Buhari won the election convincingly.
Talk to her husband that you should keep promise about what you said. because people are watching you, you know, another election is coming.
Because some people will stand for Yoruba land. They'll be strong man. You don't die.
This nation is moving forward. The best is going to take place.
The people giving voice to the voiceless.
Some pundits believe that as long as the political system is driven by selected few, corruption may be difficult to fight.
You should be careful about what you say.
I am not the only politician. Even if I've wronged anyone, it is time to forgive me.
Political Arena every Sunday at 9:15 p.m. and a repeat broadcast every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m.
If you just joined us, it's CoreTV Primetime News, a recap of our top story. President Muhammadu Buhari challenges accountants to join his crusade for financial prudence. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo calls for a paradigm shift for the development of the economy in Africa. And troops of the Nigerian military retake Gamburun Gala local government area from Boko Haram militants. You can get all of our top stories on any of our social media platforms. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/CoreTV News. Follow us on Twitter at CoreTV News NG and subscribe on our YouTube account. It's youtube.com/CoreTV. Live space and news. Road traffic violations like the one that led to the accident involving the former Akwa Ibom State Governor have been on the rise in and around the Federal Capital Territory in recent times. Many of them have led to accidents, mostly with fatal outcomes. Following the high-profile accident, correspondent Bazi Aye takes a look at the level of traffic compliance in some parts of the nation's capital.
This is Bolingo Junction, the scene where the car crash involving Senate Minority Leader Godswill Akpabio and the United States Ambassador's convoy took place, and it appears even after that incident, vehicles are still violating traffic rules.
While some road users are cautious, these lawbreakers are not deterred even by the presence of policemen and road safety officials. The law enforcers are also not resting on their oars. Some, like the driver of this vehicle, are let off easily, while others are pulled off the road. At the exact spot where the former governor's vehicle rammed into a diplomatic suburban SUV, this street vendor spoke of similar incidents few hours later.
I didn't witness it, but I witnessed the spot and, you understand, the wreckage of vehicles, you understand, broken parts of vehicle at the spot there, and how the oil, littered on the floor, I mean on the road there. And, exactly at that spot, you just across this one in particular. And the most funniest part of it, yesterday evening, around between 5 p.m. to 6, there was another accident that occurred involving a commercial taxi operator and a private vehicle. Though there wasn't any casualty, it was just a minor slide and clash at the same spot exactly. Both vehicles had a little damage, batching in the in the front of both of them.
Attempts to get comments from the Federal Road Safety Corps yielded no results. But as the enforcers of traffic rules try to ensure safety on Nigerian roads, many road users expect that focus will also be on political office holders and their drivers.
Meanwhile, one person has been confirmed dead while 4 others sustained various degrees of injuries when a Ford SUV plunged into a ditch in Abuja city center. The occupants, who were members of the same family, were said to be preparing for a birthday party before the incident. The accident happened on Monday, but the sight of a crane pulling out the wreckage of the vehicle caused a heavy traffic gridlock.
So yesterday they are running for this birthday party. One of them are having birthday that yesterday. So they are organizing how to do the birthday. They are coming from Usetu before the thing happened. So I was in the shop where they called me that such a thing happened. So okay. So this morning, that is when, because I was somewhere else yesterday. So it's this morning that the father of those children come and pick me. So we'll come together. Now he said you don't go back to the hospital where those children are. They are 5 in number. They are 5 in number. No, one of them died instantly. Then the other one have a spinal cord. While one of them break the 2 hands and one of his leg. The rest, they are nothing happened. They are in the hospital still. So that is where the owner of the motor went to. Afternoon, I say afternoon. Around that kind 2 to 3.
I see this thing still going on, so I had to stop to see what was going on. You know, the accident was really bad, but what can we say?
In the same vein, the FCT administration has vowed to apply serious sanctions on any motorist caught violating road traffic rules in the Federal Capital Territory. FCT Permanent Secretary John Chukwu issued this threat on Tuesday at the first-year anniversary celebration of the Abuja Computerized Vehicle Testing Services in Katampe District Extension. A statement from the FCT authorities quotes the Permanent Secretary as also threatening that parking on walkways and other unauthorized places would not be taken lightly. He also used the occasion to appeal to all road users in the Federal Capital Territory to obey traffic rules and road signs to ensure safety on the roads. The recent air mishaps involving helicopters in different parts of the country has once again brought into sharp focus the challenges facing the aviation sector in Nigeria. In this report, correspondent Olajumoke Olatunji takes an overview of the Nigeria's aviation sector, the challenges and what the aviation sector needs to do to measure with minimum standards across the world.
Transportation by air and its many challenges has directly affected the Nigerian economy in negative ways over the years. The aviation industry has witnessed the loss of lives and property, running into billions of naira due to alleged mismanagement and air accidents across the Federation. For these aviation experts, Babatunde Oyetayo, the current policies in the aviation sector needs to be revamped for the sector to really be one of pride for all Nigerians.
One of the things to be done is to have a well-articulated aviation policy, national aviation policy. This will set the tone for many other things in aviation. This must be made, revised, and published so people will know. So even now we are thinking of having a national carrier. That is something that will be like Nigerian Airways, to be able to cut across board, go everywhere in the world, to carry Nigerians and non-Nigerians alike. Now, that one to be done, that means we have to have a bankable business plan in place. A business plan for a national business must address 3 key things: the growth of the economy, the development of the people, and the integration.
From 1969 to 2012, a total of 2,021 people have lost their lives and property to air mishaps. He added that the Accident Investigation Bureau should also be empowered to ensure the issue of search and rescue, which has been a major sticking point in this sector, is addressed.
Normally in aviation, we don't apportion blame to anybody. Because if you blame people, people will be afraid to do what is right. They will be afraid to do what is best for the industry. And you will not be able to find out the truth. No, it is not. Because usually these boxes are placed in a place that should an aircraft crash, it's easy for you to, if you are trained, you can easily find, you know where to find it, because it's usually placed in a place that is strategic, such that even when there's a crash, it doesn't go with the larger part of the aeroplane. Okay, but if it crashes in a place like the ocean, like the sea, being a box, when it goes down, it can easily move. And usually, we need to educate people too. For example, a fisherman might have seen it. The so-called black box is not black in color. On the backs of it, some are orange, some have the yellow stripes. That's the color, so that it can be seen easily.
Nigeria has 20 airports and many regulated airstrips and heliports, 23 active domestic airlines, 554 licensed pilots, 913 licensed engineers, and 1,700 cabin personnel. Nigeria, being Africa's most populous country, is an important destination for over 22 foreign carriers with bilateral air services agreements with over 78 countries. But for many, all this had to be complemented by good policies and a comprehensive infrastructural upgrade of facilities in the sector. Olajumoke Olatuji, CoreTV News, Lagos.
The surprise visit of Ekiti State Governor Ayodele Fauci to the State Secretariat that ensued in a dramatic encounter with some latecomers seemed to have also brought some more drama in the state. This time it's raising the dust of the leadership crisis rocking the state chapter of the Trade Union Congress. While the Odunayo Adesoye-led faction posits that Kolawole Olaiya has been suspended as chairman, Olaiya says he remains the chairman, decided otherwise by the Court of Appeal.
The running battle in the Ekiti State chapter of the Trade Union Congress has once again come to the fore, with a diverse opinion expressed by the factional leaderships over the lateness of some workers in the Ekiti State Civil Service. Once again, to place it in sharp focus, the Odunayo Adesoye-led faction insists that Kolawole Olaiya has been suspended as the chairman of the Congress through a vote of no confidence, but Olaiya opines that the Odunayo-led faction has erred in the eyes of the law.
Sec and sack of Olaiya then they met at a point, at a forum at the at the State Secretariat of TUC, where vote of no confidence has been passed on him.
Somebody that said vote of no confidence has been passed on me, or the chairman. Chairman is not part of the meeting. You cannot invoke any meeting to remove a constitutionally elected head.
The Odunayo-led faction is also said to enjoy the backing of the national leadership of the TUC, laying credence to its authenticity, but Kolawole Olaiya accused Odunayo of brigandage and mere support of the state government.
The TUC has written a letter to letter of recognition for the new executive members led by Comrade Adesoye Odunayo.
They see this government as their government and continue to embark on illegality.
While workers now struggle to live above the directives of the Ekiti State Governor, the continuing supremacy battle between its union leadership may hamper the exercise of the workers' right, where a united front may be needed to be presented to save them from the wrath of the state government. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ado Ekiti.
The Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission, Uju Hassan Baba, wants governments at all levels to do more for the women folk in recognition of the critical role they are playing in the economic transformation of the country. She said these at an investment forum for Nigerian women entrepreneurs in Abuja. Hassan Baba also assured participants of the Commission's readiness to promote the investment potentials within and outside the shores of the country.
It is our primary duty to ensure that MDAs, other MDAs that are responsible for carrying out certain activities that will enable a friendly investment climate in this country, if they do not do their work, then NIPC cannot do its work. So by the very nature of our function is to ensure that whether it is immigration, okay, immigration in the sense that immigration is responsible for the issuance of expatriate quota. This is some of the requirements of a foreign investor coming in. Okay, CAC it is the NIPC's primary, duty to ensure that CAC to register a company it's as speedily done.
The Kardashians and other TV superstars have made plastic surgery a thing of trend in the world. An art where people reshape their body structure is now becoming the norm. Well, in this report, Abiola Oluwole takes a look at this supposedly new development in Nigeria's health sector.
Plastic surgery is a medical procedure with the purpose of alteration or restoring the form of the body. Though cosmetic or aesthetic surgery is the most well-known kind of plastic surgery, plastic surgery itself is not necessarily considered cosmetic. It is no longer news that people around the world now undergo medical procedure to reshape their arms, face, tummy, hips, thigh, vaginal tightening, breast augmentation, birth enlargement, and Botox, amongst others.
For instance, if you have had weight loss and you have excess skin, you need to remove them for you to be able to look good. All these extra skin coming from the arm, that's part of what you want to do. And you have a big tummy, you want to reduce it, you've tried a lot of weight loss program and it's not just happening to you, and you really want to look good. Why not?
According to experts, the rising numbers of Nigerians seeking cosmetic surgery services is making it inevitable for medical practitioners to develop capacity in that area as a way of stemming the tide of those who go abroad for medical surgery, and also as another source of revenue for health sector.
Because we know that a lot of Nigerians, they go outside the country to do it. And a lot of people don't really want to talk about it. But you see some people, that they've done some surgeries. So we are trying to come into the open to say it's safe and it's something that everybody should be proud of.
Many people will go to the US to do it. But like most things in Nigeria, it's done underground. And once anything is done underground, safety is usually an issue. And that's why we have decided to bring it to the fore.
The question is, are Nigerians ready to put themselves under the blade for beauty?
Of course I cannot do that. Why will I do that? Since if I do that, that means I am trying to help God in recreating who I am again. So I don't think it's wise for any human being to try to change the way they look.
Restructuring of physique is not an issue, but the point is that the location or where it's been done. We have issues in this country, issue of power, and if if someone undergoes such, and there's a power surge, what happens?
With the introduction of cosmetic surgery centers into the nation's health sector, expectations of Nigerians, in the words of medical experts, is for federal government to institute relevant agency to regulate the activities of cosmetic surgeons in the country so as to prevent situations where surgical implants explode as seen in other parts of the world. Abiola Oluwole, CoreTV News, Lagos.
Join me again for business, sports, and stories outside Nigeria after this break.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then news. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
On business tonight, Nigeria has been described as a very important market for growing fan base of the English football club, Manchester City Football Club. Now, making this declaration during the launch of a 3-year promotional contract between Man City Football Club and the leading consumer goods conglomerate PZ Cuisines. The commercial director, Man City Football Club Marketing, Omar Beretta, said the club was pleased to add the company to its list of existing partners in Africa. In a message delivered on his behalf by the Marketing Director, African Regional Market, PZ Cusins, Jim Jitson, Berada said Nigeria and Africa are extremely important markets where the fan base is continuing to grow. And he promised to continue to build a strong relationship with the PZ Cusins and looking forward to providing fantastic experiences for their customers and fans. The Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria has urged the international oil companies operating in the country to resolve the $7 billion they allegedly owe the federal government, as stated by the Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative. Speaking against the backdrop of the allegation contained in NATI's audit reports, the National Public Relations Officer Pengasin Emmanuel Ojubana was quoted in a statement as saying that the reconciliation was expedient to both the affected companies and government agencies to ensure transparency and accountability in the fiscal regime process of the oil industry. The statement noted that the industry, being the mainstay of the economy, had been the major focus of the government in recent times. Outside Nigeria, ISIL takes territory in south of Syria's capital, with fighters engaging in street-to-street battles with rebels. The Islamic State of Iraq and the Levant ISIL group has battered Syrian rebel forces in the southern district of Damascus, bringing ISIL fighters within about 5 kilometers of the center of the capital. ISIL fighters at Monday night waged street battles against a loose coalition of Syrian rebels in Asali, part of the southern Kadam district, after seizing 2 streets there over the weekend. A monitoring group in ISIL-affiliated media has reported and says the fighters had advanced from the adjacent Al-Hajar al-Aswad neighborhood, where they have been based since July 2014. Rebels who control several districts in southern Damascus are battling on 2 fronts, ISIL from the south and troops belonging to the regime of President Bashar al-Assad from the north. And away from that story now, we're going to Lebanon, where dozens of protesters occupy Environment Ministry over rubbish crisis, refusing to leave until the minister resigns. Around 30 protesters from Lebanon's You Stink movement have stormed the Ministry of Environment in Beirut and started a sit-in, refusing to meet until the minister resigns. They lined themselves along the hallways of the ministry, sitting on the floor, chanting for the minister to step down and singing the national anthem. Security forces have since condoned off the area, blocking access to journalists. In addition to those inside, about 20 protesters gathered outside the ministry's building. Now, hundreds of migrants have been protesting outside a major railway station in the Hungarian capital after police sealed off the terminal to stop them traveling through the EU, the European Union. Now, crowds chanted Germany, Germany, and waved train tickets after being forced to leave Kaleti station in Budapest. Hungary is trying to restore order and enforce EU rules. Meanwhile, German Chancellor Angela Merkel has called for the fair distribution of refugees across Europe. Austrian police has said 3,650 migrants arrived in the Austrian capital, Vienna, from Hungary on Monday, with most heading for Germany. By Tuesday morning, about 1,400 people had arrived in Munich, southern Germany, after traveling through Austria, and more were expected. And now to stories from the sports arena. West Bromwich Albion Football Club have confirmed Brown Aday's exit as the Nigeria international joins Greek giants Olympiacos for an undisclosed amount. The deal for the 26-year-old was finalized in time for him to be registered for the Athens-based club's Champions League campaign, West Brom said on their official website. Adaya found himself surplus to requirements at the Hawthorns, with the Nigerian not figuring in Tony Pulis' long-term plans. The summer arrivals of Solomon Rodon and Ricky Lambert have pushed Adaya down the pecking order. And West Brom are prepared to cut their losses on the striker. Adaya joined West Brom last summer in a $10 million deal from Dynamo Kiev, as reported by the Daily Mirror, but has struggled to make an impact in the Premier League. The 26-year-old scored 2 goals in his 417 appearances for West Brom but ended with 7 in all competitions after netting 4 times and police forced 8 games in charge. Idea was targeted for a number of clubs in England, France and Italy, but Olympiacos firmed up their interest with an offer. West Ham have signed Barcelona midfielder Alex Song and Chelsea winger Victor Moses on season-long loan deals, with Hull City striker Nika Jelavic also arriving for about $3 million. Cameroon World Cup player Song, 27, made 31 appearances in all competitions for the Hammers last season. Moses, 24, joined after signing a new 4-year deal with his parent club. Croatia international Jelavic, 30, has signed an initial 2-year contract with an option for a further 2 years. Real Madrid say they did everything they could to sign Manchester United goalkeeper David De Gea after missing the deadline by 2 minutes. The 24-year-old's $29 million deal and that of Keylor Navas going the other way fell through, with the Real saying United took 8 hours to reply to contracts. Real have released a statement explaining the timeline of events, and it's not thought they will appeal. United have reiterated they provided all the documents before the deadline. De Gea, who's out of contract next year, has not played this season. Navas, 28, has been Real's #1 since the club allowed Iker Casillas to join Porto. In tennis, Serena Williams and Rafael Nadal lived up to the billing with victories in the first of this year's US Open night sessions. Top seed Williams needed just 30 minutes to begin her bid for a first calendar Grand Slam as Vitalia Diachenko retired at 6-0, 2-0 down. Nadal, seeded 8th, saw off 18-year-old Bona Koric 6-2, 6-2, 4-6, 6-4. A world #1 Novak Djokovic went through, but 4th seed Kia Nishikori was beaten. The Japanese player last year's run-up lost 6-4, 3-6, 4-6, 7-6, 8-6, 6-4 to Frenchman Bernard Paire. To end CoreTV Primetime News tonight, a recap of our top stories. We told you that President Muhammadu Buhari has challenged accountants to join his crusade for financial prudence. And Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has called on the African Development Bank to set the course for a paradigm shift for the development of the continent's economy. It's good news all the way as troops of the Nigerian military retake Gamborun Gala local government area from Boko Haram militants. That wraps it on the news tonight. Thank you for watching. On behalf of everyone here, I am Nifemi Oguntoye. Have a pleasant night rest.